Hello guys, this is Sandra here. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. It's lovely to have you here and I hope you're gonna enjoy your time. I've seen a lot of ranking videos lately where people rank like different makeup products or eyeshadow palettes, and I decided it would be quite fun to do the same, but I don't want to rank all my eyeshadow palettes because that thought just creeps me out. It's way too many palettes and I don't think my brain can compute that. So I decided to just get all the palettes that I got this year, and I got 10 palettes so I can rank them from worst to best to see what I think of these. Now, not all of these are new releases, but some of them I still got this year because I was interested in them, and you know, I don't only buy new makeup because the makeup lover in me just wants some older releases. Now I have a new palette on the way, which is the Beauty Bay X Sneaky Tutorials palette, which I'm super excited about. But I thought, you know what, never mind, I just want to get this video up and rank all these palettes because I will need a bit of time to form an opinion on that one. So we're just gonna jump into the video and I hope you're gonna enjoy it. Ooh, also, before we jump into it, I will link all the videos that I have with any of these palettes down there. So if you want to see some tutorials or different looks with each of these, then you can find those easily, again, in the description box, and I will have a few in the cards as well, just so they are easily accessible. But that's it. Let's see what's my number 10 palette. Does that make sense? Never mind, just let's go. At number 10, I have a palette that I think I only used once or twice on my channel before, and I haven't used it a lot outside of it either. Is the NYX Ultimate Edit palette, and this is the Bright version. This is the only palette that I feel like I'm not too sure where I stand on. Some colors work great, others don't work that well. And while it's a really nice palette, I just don't reach for it enough, and it's mainly because when I do, not all the colors work how I want them to. Now I think at this point I used all of the shadows and they are okay, but these would not be my first choice if I would go for a Bright palette. I just think that while this is really affordable, there are a lot of other shadows on the market that just perform a bit better. It's not a bad palette, I think, if you're starting out or if you're not sure that you like bright colors. But for me personally, because I love them, I'm not sure this gives me all the feels I want it to. It's not an overly bad palette though, but in this lineup it definitely comes up at last. Now from here on, all the palettes I'm going to talk about I like, but I had to, you know, come to some sort of conclusion. So at number 9 I have my Beauty Bay Pastels palette, and I really like this palette, but as I mentioned it many times before, to me this is more of a companion palette rather than a palette that would work by itself, purely because they truly are pastels, and sometimes the color payoff is really pale, which makes sense with pastels. It's not supposed to be bright, but I just feel like I can't get a proper look out of it. But as a companion to a bright palette, when you just want a paler shade to blend those really bright colors out, this is perfect. And I feel like for that, it was only £10, so for that, if you like bright colors, this can be a lifesaver sometimes. But that's why it ends up in place number 9, because I feel like this is more of a companion palette rather than something that would, you know, stay its ground. Does that make sense? So yeah, number 9, it's a great palette, but again, that's why it's not going higher up on my list. The packaging though, it's beautiful, even though mine has a few marks on it by now, but it's because it's still well loved. At number 8 we have the Revolution Electric Dreams palette. Now this is part of their Neon Shadow palette collection. I think it had a name, but I can't think of it. And I have 2 palettes from the collection. This one is the more yellow version. Now, as I said in the review video as well, it's not exactly neon, but it's a beautiful palette nonetheless, and I love a good yellow composition and a good yellow eye. I love the color yellow. I mean, again, if you see my channel banner and my channel art, that's quite yellow as well. I do love a yellow color, but with this one, why it ranks fairly in the back is because some shades like this one and that one, they look amazing. And the shimmers are quite nice as well, especially that's one of my favorites, and also that one. Those two, I love how they look. But some other shades, like this more orangey one, it just blends away into like nothing. So the palette is like quite a 50-50 on performance, but when I use it I always create looks that I really like, and that's why it came before the Beauty Bay Pastels palette. So I guess if you want to experiment a bit with yellow and you don't mind like having a darker orange or a brownie orange that doesn't work, it's a nice palette, and again, it's Revolution, so it's quite affordable. The packaging reminds me of the Huda Beauty palettes, although again, these are not neon, and this one doesn't close as well as my red one, but it's a nice palette. It's just not as good as some of the other ones that are to come. At number 7, we have the e.l.f. Mini Bite Size Palette in the shade Very Bad. And I have 2 palettes from this collection as well. This one is the more burgundy kind of color story, and some people might be surprised because if you've seen my channel, you know I love burgundy shades. But as much as I love this palette, I don't love it as much as some of the other palettes that are about to come. But again, it's a great palette. It has 2 mattes, 2 shimmers. They all work really, really nice together, and I think you can actually get like a cohesive look out of this. Now, at the end of the day, it's only 4 shadows, so obviously you're not gonna get a wide variety of looks. But if this is like a color combination that you often go for, I think these are great value, especially for £3. You truly get amazing shadows for your money, and I'm quite excited to pick up some more maybe later on in this year, because these little palettes are super impressive for the price and they work really, really, really well. So as I said, these palettes are not ranking, you know, where they do because they're not good. It's just because the other ones I prefer. Number 6, I have a palette that I actually didn't purchase myself. I think this is the only one in the lot, but I got this for my birthday, and this is the Huda Beauty New Nudes palette. So again, it's one of those palettes that's not new in the slightest, but I really, really enjoy having this, and I love the formula of this. I mean, I have the Electric Obsessions palette, which hit major pen on it. I'm almost fully done with that palette, so that's the only other Huda Beauty palette I have. But I do know based on that and this that I do love her eyeshadow formulas. The only colors I haven't used here are, I think, the 2 pressed pigments. Apart from that, I used all the other shadows, and these marbled shadows are amazing. They are so, so beautiful, and I don't have any other palettes that have this like marbled kind of shade in there, so that really floored me. They just give off such a beautiful shine, and all the matte colors in there as well just look so pretty on the eyes. They blend out so easily, and I love these mauvey purpley kind of colors and that kind of color story. So I think I'm gonna play with it a lot more now that autumn is coming around, because who doesn't love those colors in the autumn time? But yeah, I have nothing bad to say about this palette. The only thing I would say, the only thing I did not get on with well is this concealer shade. I don't know, as a base it doesn't do a lot for me. It creases, and some people told me that it's great to cut the crease. I don't think I've done that yet, but yeah, that's the only shade I was not, you know, that fussed with, and to be honest, I couldn't care less if that's in there or not. But all the other shades I really, really enjoy, and they are a super nice formula. And the packaging as well. I love it, how the light hits it and then it like plays in different colors. Like, look at that, it's the little things. You can really buy me with pretty packaging, I can't help it. I'm just that girl. And now we're moving on to top 5, and for me it truly is a mixed bag of like drugstore and more higher end products. So at number 5 we have the other Revolution palette that I have from the Neon collection, and this one is called Not a Dream. So this one is the more reddy, purpley pinky kind of formula, and in this palette, while the shimmers are nice, I'm not that floored with those. But all the mattes in this palette, they blend like a dream, they work super well together. And while I think the shimmers are not as good quality in this one as in the yellow one for some reason, I don't know why, I still rank this palette higher because the mattes in there, like if I wouldn't know that this is Revolution, I would think that this is a much higher it's a much higher priced item, just because those mattes blend so amazingly, they don't lose the pigment, you can just work with them super, super easily, and yeah, I mean, I'm gonna just keep repeating the same words of amazing, blends easily and looks pretty, because that's what this palette is. The shimmers, meh, I don't care that much about, but it's only 4 shimmers, and then the other 5, 2, 4, 5, yeah, the other 5 are matte. So you can work those shimmers, they work a lot better with the fingers, but just for the mattes, I would say that if you like those kind of colors, pick this palette up. You're not gonna be disappointed, they work super, super well. At Number 4, we have the other one of my e.l.f. bite-sized palettes. This is called hot jalapeno. No, not hot, just jalapeno. I don't know why I want to say hot jalapenos. It's not. But this is the more green kind of palette, and most recently I used it in my Fenty Money Palette dupe video. It's super pretty. Again, you can get a really nice look out of this. I feel like this is a bit more versatile than the Berry Bed one, only because this has this gold shade in there, so it's, while it goes really well with the greens, it's not so one-toned as that Berry Bed one. And for some reason I'm really drawn to green colours lately, I'm not sure why. But again, for £3 you really cannot go wrong with this palette. If you just want to experiment with colours, these palettes can be a great option because you don't have to spend a lot of money, and if you don't like it, that's fine. You can just pass it on to someone else who will enjoy it, and you only lost £3. Now again, the shimmers I feel like in this palette work a bit better with the fingers, but that's generally true even for my most expensive palettes, so I'm not taking points away from this, and I really love this. Now we're moving on to the top 3, and also if you want to see more of these palettes in action, let me know. I can film more tutorials with these. But number 3 is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette. Now I bought this used from someone I know. It was really lightly used and I wanted to try it, and oh my god, do I regret it? No, I really don't. The color story is really nice. One of my favorite shades in here is Celestial, which is this beautiful purple kind of color. I also really love Violet Child, Dreamer, Eccentric, Passion. I love all the shades in here. You can go really neutral or you can add a pop of color. The formula is really good. Now I never tried Anastasia eyeshadows before. Well no, I tried it once because one of my friends had the, oh my god, Modern Renaissance. How did I not remember that? Literally that's all the internet talked about for a while. So I tried the formula once, but I did not own any myself. So I was super excited to receive this and play with it, and again, it did not disappoint. It's such a beautiful formula. The mattes, the shimmers, they all work really well together, and I just really like the color story. But I just love looking at it. It makes me happy, and the shades work so well that I just haven't created a look with this yet that I don't fully love. So this definitely deserves number 3 on my list. The palette that almost won is the Natasha Denona Mini Star palette. I got it this February and I love this palette. I never tried anything from Natasha Denona before, and even though I heard that the formula on the minis is not necessarily the same as the big palettes, I just could not justify spending like 100 quid or even like 60-70 quid on a bigger palette when I haven't even tried the little ones. If that formula is even better than this one, then I mean, I can't imagine that, because this formula is already so great. The mattes are super nice and blendable and soft. The shimmers are great both with a brush and the finger actually. And this gold has like a slight greeniness to it, so it's a bit more unique to my collection, because some of my other golds are more yellow toned, and it's just, I mean, look at it. It's so pretty. How can you not like it? And it's really small, so it's perfect for traveling, especially if you're a neutral lover. Now granted, it's not the most versatile palette, although you can get quite a good variety of looks out of this if you want to. You can go really natural, you can go a bit more grungy. So, you know, even though it's only 5 shades, I feel like while it's not the most versatile palette, you can still get a good variety of looks out of it if you want to travel with it. And even though it's plastic, it's super sturdy, which just makes it a bit more of like a luxe feel. And I don't think these are that expensive. I mean, it's £25, but you know, compared to like £60 or 100, it's still a lot more affordable to try. So I'm super happy with this palette. Obviously, it came number 2 for a reason. And the palette that stole my heart this year so far is the Pure X Raw Beauty Kristi palette. I mean, I created so many looks with it and I love all of them. Obviously, it has more of a neutral side and then it has more of a colorful side as well. And I think that's why I like it so much, because it's really small and compact. And the design how she did it as well, that you have a more colorful writing on one side and a more rose gold on the other one, so you exactly know which side you're looking at even without opening it. It's really smart, and it's so small and compact that you can travel with it, especially because it has the mirror as well, but at the same time you will have both colors and neutrals with you, which I really enjoy, and the quality of these shadows is amazing as well. Now there is a little bit of fallout, but it's because it's a pressed pigment palette, so it's nothing unusual with pressed pigments, but they all blend together so well. You can go super neutral, you can go super grungy, you can go super colorful, you can do so many things with this palette. While again, it fits in the palm of my hand. I just feel like she did an amazing job with this palette, and there's not a lot I can fault with this, really. So obviously, that's why it became number one, because I love this so much. And again, I've created countless looks with this, and they just work. So yeah, number one. But let me know if you have any of these palettes, if you purchased any of them, what do you think? And what would you put out of these into number one? Let me know. I would love to know. I don't know why I keep looking at it. You can't see it. I can. But again, let me know what you think. If you like this video as well, please give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to my channel. I post videos 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and sometimes I have the occasional Saturday bonus videos as well. They are all makeup and beauty related, and I would say 99% of the time I will talk about makeup because that's my passion. But I'm gonna go now. I hope to see you here next time as well, and have a lovely day. Bye bye!